what were your reflections on the game?
Oh, look, my immediate reflection is obviously a huge disappointment with the result because obviously we were in the lead there with two to go. So that's my overriding thought and feelings. But I think looking at how we defended in the first half, we were pretty sloppy in terms of building any pressure off our own ball, whether that was first phase strikes or whether that was accurate kick in for touch or the contact area. We just couldn't build any pressure. But what we did do was we defended like our lives depended on it in the first half, and actually got in with I think it was a 5 point game at the time, and gave ourselves a chance in the second half. And probably other than the contact area, which we did improve, but we still lost the race there on a few occasions. And as the ball carrier, we probably weren't busy enough on the ground, because they were very, very hungry at the breakdown. And look, the players knew about it before the game. We practiced it a lot in the week, but sometimes, you don't win just because you've worked on it and put it under a lot of pressure and practiced it. Doesn't mean you're going to win. It doesn't mean it's going to go well in the game. So the boys give themselves the best chance for it to succeed. We didn't get it right, and we gave them one more shot, didn't we, at the end? And the South African teams, they don't need any second invite, gas. So, but I'm proud of the second half performance, mate. We fired more shots. We took our chances more often. I thought we looked more like the team we know we are, rather than the one perhaps that has been a bit costly on the attacking side of the game in the last few matches, anyway, at least apart from the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, after the defeat last week, how was it preparing the side? Because you weren't in the playoff scenario this weekend. How was it that final game? How was it in preparation? How did you get round that?
Oh, look, the preparation from the squad, we've been, all season, mate, from when we started in June to now, preparation from the squad has been class. Like the mindset of the players, they come to work every day. They love each other's company, and they truly want to get better as individuals and as a team. So it's been no different on this trip, mate. We did talk around. It's a nice little environment for us to test each other around. Being away in a country where there's nice weather and there could be lots of distractions that could take you away from focus, particularly when we lost last week's game, when there wasn't any sort of knockout rugby to play for. But I just said the players, their diligence around their work's been top notch, and if we can harness that and grow that with the young players, and continue that over time, that's a hell of a platform to work off. So I'm excited about pre-season. I won't lie to you, I'm looking forward to a break, but I'm excited about getting the boys in pre-season and really ripping into our game around key areas, and trying to make us better, and set us up for another good run next year.
You've mentioned it there. You started in June, now middle May. It's a long old season these days, isn't it?
Yeah, and the boys love, the boys have got a little tidy up at the end of this week. Oh, sorry, yeah, end of next week. Trying to work out what day we are. But we're coming in Thursday and Friday to do a little bit of a review individually. So we got some player stats, the analysts are working their socks off out here, putting all that together. And then we'll have a stats report from the season gone. So we'll know statistically where we've gone well, where there's growth, where there's windows of opportunity to be better. And, we know ourselves as coaches as well. Without those stats, we've got a pretty good idea of where we can grow our game and where our game is where the strength of our game is. So we'll finish that work the end of next week, and then the boys will have 4 weeks rest after that, and we'll be back into it, mate.
You mentioned their stats. I mean, when you look at it just sort of black and white, last year you finished 8th. This year you finished 12th. I mean, 40 points, 48 points, into difference or how much it was. How would you assess the season, given those stats, but given the way that you played as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, look, the league table doesn't lie. It's a body of work, isn't it? Over 11 months, or sorry, well, probably 9 months when you're looking at the season. So the league table doesn't lie on your results. But look, I think for various reasons, we only won 2 games before Christmas, all right? So, when that happens, you pretty much need to pick up a fair few in the second half of the year. And to be fair, we made a pretty good start on that. And look, we lost the game in the last minute. Yeah, we beat the Scarlets in the last minute, in my first match after I took over. So over the course of a season, it swings and roundabouts. But, there's been lots of growth in our game, mate. If you look at how we're playing the game, we're more of a handful in different areas of our game. If you're, the biggest compliment I can give the players is every coach I've spoken to before the games have said, oh, you're difficult to prepare for because you've got a scrum game, you've got a maul game, you've got attack with the ball in hand. Your back three are dangerous. So look, that's positive because we know the road to where you want to get to isn't a straight one. We feel like we've got a good basis, and we feel like we've picked up some awesome wins, mate. So whilst to pick up on your point of we've scored 40 points, not 50 like last year, but we've also beaten Glasgow away. We've also picked up some big wins in the league against sides that we've struggled. We haven't beaten Connacht at home for a while, and we had a good win against them. So there's been some really good moments as well. And it's difficult to think of it all in a 10-minute Zoom with yourself. But I think if you probably ask the supporters and the players, I'd be surprised if they said they didn't think that the team had taken a step forward in lots of areas. But of course, you as professional sport, you're judged on winning and losing, and obviously we have lost. I think it's 3 more games than it was last year. I think we won 10 last year, and is it 7 this year? I think, if I'm correct. Apologies if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah. In terms of yourself, how much are you looking forward to being in charge of the team from pre-season on? Because obviously that was the plan for next season anyway. You came in December. So how much are you looking forward to being able to in charge from day one when you all meet up, whenever it is in June or July?
Mate, no more than I've enjoyed being an assistant coach when Boothie was here. I've really enjoyed coming into work every day. So there's no more enjoyment out of it for me. I love rugby, mate, and my family will tell you that. I love rugby. My challenge is to probably enjoy life outside of that a little bit more. But I'm excited about having a bit of a rest and watching my kids go and play sport and connect up with the wife and enjoy the family. That's what I need to do first and foremost. And then look, excited about getting the feedback from the players and the coaches around our game. And then, like you say, building it not from the ground up, mate. There's already really good foundations here, but certainly building next year's strategy around how we try and get back in those playoffs, because we loved being in there last year, and trying to get another good European Cup run, because that was pretty good this year and we enjoyed that. And look, we were 3 points away there from potentially getting through to a semi and a final. So we're not a million miles away. Group's in good health. We've got good youngsters coming through. We think we've recruited pretty well. And I think whilst we're disappointed, mate, we're pretty excited about the next years to come.
Can I just ask you quickly about Justin, because they didn't get the chance to, the way he came off wasn't perhaps befitting of the legendary that he's done down at the Ospreys. He won't blow his own trumpet, but I just wanted a word of it just as he's finishing his playing career now and going into the defensive coach role with you next season.
Yeah, look, just the round tips. And there's a couple of guys leaving our environment now as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to play a small part in all the players' careers, actually, whether they're moving on from us now or whether they're retiring like Tips. It's always a pleasure to play your part in a professional's career. And actually, even if you're a junior coach, coaching children, like, the influence you have on these guys is big, as much as you think it isn't at times. You do. You're very much involved in it, and you have a big influence on how good they can be and how much they enjoy playing and how much they love the game. So to have played a part in Tips's career, which is what you asked me, it's been an absolute privilege. And the good thing about it is I'll get to see him every day when he comes in, pretty much. I'm so excited to see how he views the game as a coach and how he gets that talent that he's got inside him as a player, how he converts that and how he interprets that, and more importantly, how he communicates it to the players now, because he's done it a lot by showing how to do it and demonstrating it, and now he's going to have to do it. That the older he gets now, the harder it's going to be to demonstrate it. And I'm excited to see what new ideas he brings to the coaching group. So he's back home, but he's in on Thursday and Friday because he's living in the coach's world now, and we're going to get him stuck into his first task.
Final one for me, Mark. I did ask Dwayne this in the week, so feel free to not answer it if you don't. But a lot of uncertainty in Welsh Rugby at the moment. I'm not going to ask you any of the details because it's not your domain or anything like that. As you're a head coach, not that. But I'm just wondering, as players and coaches, have you sought the reassurance that everything's okay and things going forward? Because you're like humans, like anybody else. You'll be worried about what happens off the field anyway, won't you?
Yeah, thanks, Gar. To be honest with you, mate, I actually think being over here while some of this stuff is being talked through is not a bad thing. We're away from it. We've had rugby to focus on, which has been great. And I got to say, as I said to you at the start, the boys are focused wholeheartedly on what they can control. And as coaches, we've done the same. Look, I know with our management team and our owners, we're in safe hands. They love the Ospreys. They've done nothing but support the Ospreys brand over the last 22 years or whatever it is. And whatever discussions are going on, I know it'll be for the betterment of Welsh rugby from both parties, mate. So hopefully it'll be resolved in the not too distant future, and everybody will come out of it feeling like they're in a better place and Welsh rugby's in a better place. And that's my hope for the group. And we certainly haven't seen it in our performance tonight. As you can see, both players were focused on the game 100%, and so have the staff. So I'm sure there'll be good news to come, mate. And fingers crossed it'll be in the not too distant future.
Lovely. And what do you do on your 4 weeks off? Do you relax? Do you completely switch off from rugby, like you said about who your family will ask you to?
I'm not going to be able to be totally switched off from it, mate. I'll get this game reviewed and done, and there'll be all sorts of player reports and set piece reports and all these things to get through, and then there'll be we've already started pre-season outline with our head of performance. Mr. Simon Church, he's been beavering away, and look, we're already talking around what sessions look like on day one. But before that happens, we need to find out how many players are going on tour and exactly bottom out exactly who we're going to be working with in the off season. So, mate, there'll be plenty of rugby to do. But what'll be good is I won't have to wake up in the morning and the first thing in my head won't be rugby. It'll be actually let's go and walk the dog or have a cup of tea.